Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. So, y'all, I got this book, and this book is really, really interesting. It gives you different topics of things like questions to really ask yourself, to really make you aware of who you are and make you really understand which way or direction you should go based on being more aware of who you are based on these questions. So I really love this book. So I got a question in the book today that I want to share with y'all. And so I'm going to get to that question. But before I do that, make sure you hit the follow button because when you do, you never miss a moment to rewire the way you think. All right, y'all, here we go. So question number one, and this is probably, if you grew up in my era, you're going to love this question, right? You're going to love the question no matter what anyways. What I was going to say is that based on this question, my response to this question is that if you grew up in my era, you're going to know exactly where I'm coming from. Or maybe you experienced it, maybe not. But anyway, so y'all, the question is what's one rule from your childhood do you not agree with now that you're an adult? And that really makes me question like, the thing that come to my mind when I come to this is discipline. Disciplining your children with using a belt. I have nothing against people who use a belt to discipline their children. I mean, I got whooped with a belt several times, right? I grew up in that era. Like I told y'all a minute ago, this question I'm going to pose, if you grew up around my era, it's going to really hit home for you. And so this question, like I said, really hits home for me. So if you grew up in my era, I'm sure it hits home for you. But anyways, y'all, so I don't agree with whipping your child with the belt. And I do believe in discipline, but I do feel like there's a different way that you can discipline your children so that they will listen to you. Now, the whoopings I got with the belt made me the person I am today. Very responsible, very, very loving, and I would say very understanding of people and who they are, right? But when I think about hitting my kids with the belt, it makes you really question, why did that happen to me? And like I said, y'all, I'm not second guessing how I was raised. I'm not second guessing my parents. I'm not saying they're bad parents for whooping me with the belt. Like I said, y'all, I'm a very responsible young man today. Young man. I did say young man, y'all, but I'm very responsible. And so the way I was raised is the way I would ask my parents to raise me again if I had to do it all over again. Let me just say that. However, I don't agree with whooping your children just because I don't think that method of discipline always warrants you to be a better child. It's scary. It hurts. It's not a good feeling to get hit with a belt anywhere on a part of your body, but I just don't agree with that method. I have a total of 5 children. I have 2 biological children, and then I have 3 children that are my bonus kids from my wife. So together we got a total of 5 kids. My kids, I chose not to discipline them with the belt. Now I might have hit them with my hand, closed fist, no fist. I mean, open fist, closed fist, open fist, y'all, open fist. I never chose to hit my kids in a matter of child abuse. I would say along those lines. Never did that. Like I said, if they did something wrong, I probably would spank them on their butt, hit them on their arm, or something to that effect. But never, like I said, closed fist. It was more like a. And if you listen to this, watching this video, you'll see what I'm doing here, which is hitting the hand, right? And so that was the type of discipline that I used with my children. Now, not only sometimes I didn't hit them, I would take their cell phone away. I would ground them. I would tell my son he couldn't play the video game for a week or two. I would tell my daughter she couldn't play Barbies, things of that nature. Right. Right. But I just don't agree with having to beat your kids with the belt because I don't feel like that is warranted to have your kids obey, listen, or be respectful. Right. I don't think it always warrants that. I mean, I have friends who used to get hit with the belt all the time and they grew up to be menaces. So to me, in this scenario, I don't feel like, or I don't agree that you have to whip your child with the belt for them to grow up to be responsible, respectful, loving, and then so on. Like I said, if I had to do it all over again for myself, I would have my parents raise me the same way they did, uh, and still with the same disciplinary actions they took. I wouldn't ask them to do it any different because I know it made me a responsible person today. I just, in return, would not or did not practice that in raising my children because I didn't feel that it warranted that same type of discipline was needed for them to obey and listen to me. But I turn it back to y'all. What is one rule from your childhood do you not agree with now that you're an adult? Is it the whooping thing? Is it the type of discipline that you received? Is it that, what is it? How would you answer that question? And y'all, so I would really love to know what y'all response will be to that question. So on this podcast episode, if you're engaged enough or you feel like you want to be more engaged, email me with your answer at jewatki1@gmail.com, or on the podcast, on the question I'm going to pose, I'm going to allow you to leave a comment and add more details so you can share what is one thing that you don't agree with as an adult that happened to you as a child or whatever it may be, right? Because I really want to hear your responses and what they might be. For me, that is my biggest thing because, like I said, I don't feel like that hitting your child with the belt is always the number one resolution for things that happen. There's TV timeouts, there's video game timeouts. Cell phones are big today. Every kid almost has a cell phone from the age, 6 or 7, right? You could take the cell phone away. I know when my son had his cell phone, I took it away. The world was coming to an end for him. It was the worst thing ever. He couldn't talk to his friends. He couldn't chat with his little girlfriends. I hit him below the belt, right where it really hurt it at, right? So taking his cell phone away works. Grounding your children works, saying, hey, you can't go outside for 2 weeks. You can't hang out with your buddies after school tomorrow, right? You're not going to the school dance or whatever the plans is. You're not going to the mall this weekend with your buddies, right? There's several different ways of how we can ensure discipline our children other than using a belt. Now, sometimes maybe the belt might be warranted, just depend on what they do. And I can't think of the worst scenario. But anyways, y'all, so when I was in elementary school, we had this little game that we played that when we doing the Pledge of Allegiance, when you're standing up, someone behind you will move your chair. Y'all know this game, right? And so the majority of the time when you will move the person's chair in front of you, they would look back and be like, who moved my chair? Right? But this time, the only time that I did it, this kid didn't look back. And I don't know to this day why didn't he not look back, but he didn't. And the kid got ready to sit down and he sat in the sitting position. Chair wasn't there. So he fell backwards, hit his head on my desk, busted his head wide open. Blood is gushing from this kid's head right in front of me. Yeah, definitely a joke gone bad on me. And so the teacher started asking me who did it. I started trying to lie and say someone next to me did it or this person did it. It just didn't work out. They was like, hey, man, you lying. You moved this kid's chair. Go to the principal's office. So I had to go to the principal's office. Principal was very upset with me. Mr. Sanchez, I still remember his name, Mr. Sanchez. He was very upset. He was like, hey, he goes, this deserves some paddling. And I'm like, paddling? Okay. I knew the belt, but I didn't know what paddling was. So he called my mom, told her the scenario, and got her permission to give me 4 swats. And he gave me my 4 swats. And so he gave me the 4 swats. And then he called my mom, said, your mom won't talk to you. And she's like, well, when you get home, you're going to get some more. And I'm like, I already got hit 4 times. I don't need no more discipline. I feel like that was enough. My butt is still on fire right now. So when I got home, that day it took me the longest time to get home ever. I was not in a hurry to get home, and I think y'all know why. I don't have to get y'all that far why I didn't want to go home. But anyway, so I finally get home, and my mom set me down, and I'm thinking like, okay, when is the belt coming out? When is the belt coming out? Because I knew she was going to get it, and she starts telling me, I can't believe you did that. I'm disappointed in you. that kid could have ended up in a worse scenario. He had to get stitches in his head. His parents wasn't happy, but they were friendly. And I offered to pay the medical bill. And they said, no, we have insurance. And, I got the lecture of a lifetime. But at the end of the day, she didn't whoop me. And I really had to ask myself why. Because she normally would have in that case. I mean, of course, I got whooped for things smaller than that or less than that. So I really thought it was coming at that point, y'all. But anyway, she didn't whoop me. But I think now that I'm older and I really mature about it is because I already got 4 swats, and she probably thought in her mind like, well, he already got disciplined. I'm just gonna talk to him a little bit deeper, right? But that's the story, y'all. And I really believe at that point in time, if I had got a whooping, that should have been the time that I got a whooping for doing something like that. So many other things that I did, I didn't think that it would warrant me to get hit with a belt. There was other ways that I could have been disciplined. But again, though, like I said, y'all, I'm just going to repeat this. I don't feel like the way I was raised was bad in any way, any shape or form. I feel like that the discipline I got was what I needed because it made me a very responsible man that I am today. But I just went with my kids with the belt. So let me know, what do you think? How do you feel about whooping your kids with the belt? What are some different things? What are your tactics for discipline for your children today? Do you take the phone away? Do you ground it? Or do you just stay in your room all day or stand in the corner? What is it? I would like for y'all to share with me. Again, send it to me at jewatki1@gmail.com. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for listening to today's episode. I really, really appreciate it. If you have not followed the podcast, make sure you hit that follow button because when you do, you'll never miss a moment to rewire the way you think. Don't forget to check out my website. It's www.rewirethewayouthink.com. Yeah, I'm not hard to find. I'm on IG all day, every day. It's Fast Forward Mindset Podcast. If you're struggling today with thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the suicide prevention hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And as I always say, if your mindset isn't making you money, it's costing you way too much. And that's my 2 cents in it, y'all. Peace. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.